Hi, this is Rachel and this is my 60-minute yoga practice that I wanted to share with you. We will follow our intuition as we move along the mat, but there will be a little bit of flow, a little bit of seated postures, and we're going to begin standing up. As you can see, our feet hip width apart, just about. And we'll just do a little stretch along the sides. You can raise your hands up alongside your ears. And then we're going to move our right foot over onto the outside of that left foot with a little bit of space in between the 2 feet. So the toes will be in line and your arms will stay where they are. And then we're going to grab the right wrist with the left hand and we're going to sway over to the left. So you're giving the right side body a nice stretch there. Just take a couple of breaths here just to really feel that stretch. And in your next inhale, you can bring the arms up, shoulder width apart again, and bring that right foot back, and so that the feet are hip width apart again. And then we're going to move the left foot over outside the right foot, toes in line, some space there between the feet as well, and grabbing the left wrist with the right hand and swaying over to the left side, or swaying over to the right side, feeling the stretch along the left side. Or rather, moving over to the right side and feel the stretch along the left hand side. Take a breath or two here. And then you're going to inhale, bring your hands back to shoulder width apart. Bring your left foot back so your feet are hip width apart again. You can bring your hands down to your sides, so Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, you can turn the palms slightly outwards or maybe into your side a little bit. And then we're going to bring our hands up in front of us. So we're just going to work on the wrists a little bit. So we're going to bring the palms facing forward and just hold this. So this will give you a nice stretch up along the front of the hand, the palm of the hand, and then up along the wrist. So it's like as if you are down on the mat, maybe doing a tabletop position. So you're trying to get the fingers up as straight as they can. And then we're going to let the hands flip forward to the palms so you come back in the opposite direction. So the palms are facing in towards you now. You're giving a nice stretch along the front of the hand and along the top of the wrist. And then what you can do is you can circle the wrists one direction and creating little fists as you're circling if you like, and then you do the opposite direction. So just working out, stretching out the wrists, warming them up. And then you can put your palms out to the right. So you're keeping your shoulders in a line with your wrists, or your wrists in line with your shoulders. And you'll see they mightn't go very far. It's just a different kind of stretch when you're going out to the right. You can also do these stretches in tabletop position. So you'll have that added pressure, obviously, if they'll make your hands go back a little bit further. And then I'm going to release that, and then I'm going to bring my palm up again, so facing forward, and bring of the right hand and bring the left hand alongside the right fingers and push back the fingers slightly. So you're just giving that extra stretch along the palm of the right hand and the wrist, up alongside the right arm. You can do that for a couple of breaths. And when you're done with that, you can release that, and then we'll do the opposite hand. So the left hand for me, and I'm going to hold the left fingers with my right palm. This feels like a really nice stretch up the palm of the left hand and along the wrist. I'm going to release that and bring my hands down. The arms can feel actually quite tired after doing that for a little bit. And from here, we're just going to stand in mountain just for a moment. You can roll your shoulders up, back and down, maybe a couple of times. And then maybe forward and down, up, forward and down a couple of times. And I'm going to shake out my arms, so I'm going to swing from right to left. Just let your arms go loose and let the palms still gently tap the back of the body as you're swinging around from left to right. This loosens up and releases any energy or maybe tension you're holding there in the arms. You can go quick or you can go slow. And then you can slow it down and come back to center. So I'm going to come around and come into a seated position, but you might come to the front of your mat, whichever suits you. I'm going to stay to the side just for the moment. And I'm going to come into Sukhasana, so easy pose, so one leg in front of the other. My right leg is this time in front of the left. Just make sure your sit bones are directly on the floor and you can lengthen up the spine and that the chin is parallel to the ground. And you're looking forward. Maybe your gaze is soft or eyes are closed. And from here, I'm just going to do a little twist. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my feet in front. So they're about hip width apart. Just to make sure I lengthen up my spine. I'm going to bring my right foot in beside my left hip. And so the top of the foot is just gently resting down on the foot and the sole is looking up inwards slightly to the hip, but also up slightly to the ceiling. And I'm going to bring the left foot around. And if you can press that foot into the ground, the whole sole of the foot into the ground. And when you're here, you can lengthen up. You can bring your the two hands beside your hips, fingers tented, and lengthen up the spine. And then you bring the right arm up alongside that ear and swing it over, and you'll bring the upper right hand along the outer left thigh. And you can leave the palm facing out to the left. And you don't have to go into this, so tightly because I know we're just warming up, but you can swing the fingers around behind you, so the fingers tented behind your hips. And as you inhale, you're lengthening up, and as you exhale, you move into your twist. And just take a few breaths here. You can look off to the left, or you can look back in the direction of that left shoulder. And on your next inhale, you can come back to center, release that hand down, bring the left hand over beside the hip and tent the fingers. Just elongate the spine. You can bring that right hand back alongside the right hip and tent the fingers and just lengthen the spine. Take an inhale and exhale here. You might like to sigh it out. And then you can gently untwist. So you can bring your two hands to that left calf and bring that left foot, sole of the foot planting down. So just to gently bring yourself out, you can use your arms to assist, and we'll come back into our starting position with our feet flat on the mat, hip width apart. Inhale, you're just lengthening the spine. And then I'm just going to bring that left foot in and under. And that foot, the top of the foot down on the mat, in beside the right thigh. Again, the sole facing slightly in towards that right hip or up towards the ceiling, and then you'll bring your left foot up and over, sole of the foot planted on the floor. And again, we'll tent our fingers beside our hips and we'll just elongate the spine. And then we'll bring our left arm up. And as you exhale, you'll bring that left upper arm to the right outer thigh. And you'll swing your right fingertips behind you, behind the hips. And left palm facing out to the right. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Just take a few breaths here, just enjoying this twist. Now on my next inhale, I'm going to look forward and I'm going to let that left arm come down, and then I'm going to swing that left hand around, bring the fingertips beside the hips again, lengthen up the spine, and then I can use my arms to assist my legs to come back to my starting position. And again, I'll just put my fingertips alongside my hips again and just lengthen up the spine. And then I'm going to swing my legs over to the left and going to come into a tabletop position. Knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. Make sure your fingers are spread out with your index finger facing or pointing up towards the top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale. And then I'm going to move my knees back, and you're going to bring your chest down. So you might need to bring your palms a bit forward as well, so you'll need a space. We're doing heart to earth pose. So you just need to feel it out there for yourself. But usually there's quite a distance, maybe about 3 feet between the knees and the palms. And then you can bring the forehead down if it comes there. I brought a little block along today. If you have one, that might be handy. So you can use, again, a block here or not, depending how close you can get down. Just about that opening in the chest more than anything. And just take a few breaths here. And I'm going to inhale, raise the head, and I'm going to come back and bring my palms back slightly so I can just raise myself back up. I'm going to put that block off to the side. And then I'm going to come back into a tabletop. And I'm just going to go through a few rounds of cat-cow. So I'm going to drop the belly, raise the head, inhale, exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Just move through a few of those yourself on your own breath. Stopping where you like. Sometimes it's nice to hold in cat for a few moments just to really feel that stretch. Sometimes it's nicer to move quicker in it. Just depends on how you feel. On my next inhale, I'll come back to neutral spine, and I'm going to flip over the toes and I'm going to move my palms slightly forward on the mat. And then I'm going to come up into downward facing dog. Again, you can maybe lengthen out your dog, rearrange your legs, maybe walk out your feet. Maybe bring them in a little closer to feel that added stretch, so you can bring your heels down close to the ground. Sometimes it's nice to bring in one leg at a time to really lengthen out that, maybe if you're bringing in the left leg, to really lengthen it out, to really feel that stretch in the back of that left leg. And then you can bring that one back and then try the other one. And I'm going to just come into a steady, still downward dog. You can make sure the head is released and hanging, and you're looking back in the direction of maybe between your feet or maybe up towards your belly button, depending on how your neck is feeling today. And then I'm going to look forward and I'm going to walk forward up to the top of the mat. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to release down. I'm going to inhale, bring my hands up into the air, palms touching. And I'm going to look up towards the palms. And then I'm going to look forwards and release the hands down to my side. I'm going to stand in mountain. And then I'm going to bend my knees and bring my bum down. And I'm going to gently graze the fingertips along the mat and then swing them up alongside my ears. So I'm staying in with my hips low, my knees bent, chair pose. We're just going to take a couple breaths here, just bringing awareness into the balance of the feet. Try to maybe bring the weight back into the heels a little bit more. Inhale, maybe side out. And then you can inhale and exhale, bring the arms, the hands down. Come into a flat back, half forward fold, and then come into a full forward fold. Hands wherever they rest. Maybe your knees are more bent, or maybe you're trying to get a little length into the back of the legs like I am right now. I'm going to release that. And then I'm going to bring my left foot back. Toes turned over, or turned under rather. And I'm going to swing my arms up alongside my ear again. And we're in a high lunge. Maybe go for a little back bend, looking up slightly. And a high crescent. And then we'll come forward and bring our arms alongside our body, airplane arms. Looking down towards our right foot. Keeping that right leg parallel to the ground. You'll feel it really along that right leg, the right glutes. Just strengthening there for a moment. And then I'm going to bring my palms down to the mat, bring my right foot back up into a three-legged dog. And bring that right foot down. I'm just going to lengthen out a little bit to a longer dog. And I'm going to bring my knees to the mat. Flip over the toes, bring my chest to the mat. Bring the head to the mat. Just make sure the palms are in line there with the chest. Roll the shoulders back, down the back of the body. Bring your head up, and you're gazing out in front. Maybe not straight out in front, 45-degree angle down to the ground, so you're not straining your neck. And exhale, bring the forehead back to the mat. Press into the palms. Come back up onto the knees, flip over the toes. Come back up into a downward dog. Inhale, exhale, side out. I'm going to walk up to the top of the mat, looking forward. Going to inhale, half forward fold, looking forward slightly. Relax down into a forward fold. And then you can release that. Bring the arms up into the air alongside your ears. Palms together, maybe looking up. And then exhale, release the arms out and down alongside the body, mountain pose. And again, I'm going to bend my knees, bring my bum down, and sweep the fingertips along the mat, bring them up, and your arms alongside your ears, staying low as you can, that chair pose. You're looking forward. Again, you don't have to strain your neck to look straight forward. You're more of a 45-degree angle looking down, but forward. Be aware of the balance of your feet. You're not tipping forward. Remember your breath. Try to keep that even and gentle. And your next exhale, you can release your hands down, fold over. Come into a forward fold of your choice, wherever your hands lie. Maybe your knees are bent or lengthened. And then we can do our half forward fold where we're lengthening the spine, looking forward slightly. Again, the fingertips can be in line with the toes or on the calves or on the thighs. And we're going to release that and then bring the right foot back. And then we're going to swing the arms up alongside the ears into high lunge on the right side. Again, you might do a little gentle back bend. Looking up slightly, high crescent. And I'm going to swing the arms out front and then alongside my body, so airplane arms. Again, just being aware of that left glute, that left thigh. So aware of what's happening there and that thigh is parallel to the mat. You can keep your palms looking down towards the mat. And try to keep your breath even as you hold this for a few moments. And then I'm going to bring my palms down to the mat and bring that left foot back into a three-legged dog. And then allow that to come down to the mat and come into a downward dog. Maybe swing the head left to right, up and down, just to release anything you might have been holding there. And again, I'm going to bring my knees down to the mat, flip my toes over, move my chest down, my forehead down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, look forward and slightly down. Inhale, exhale, release the forehead down, push into the palms, back onto the knees, flip the toes, downward dog. And I'm going to inhale, bring that right foot up in the air. And bend the knee, bring it in close to the nose. I'm not touching the nose, kiss it. kiss the nose with the knee, and then bring the right foot flat on the mat, the top of the mat, and then I'm gonna bring that left foot at a 45-degree angle and sole of the foot flat on the mat, trying to keep the heel in line with the arch of that left foot. If you need to give yourself a bit more room, that's no problem. It can often feel a little more balanced if you bring that left foot out a bit. But if you want to maybe move a little forward today in your practice and try a little bit of balance, try something different, that might be good. And then I'm going to swing my arms up alongside my ears and make sure my torso and my hips are pointed forward. So, warrior one. And just take an inhale, exhale here. And then I'm gonna lengthen that front leg, my right leg. I'm gonna lift my torso up and over and forward, my arms going forward as well. Allow my arms to hang. And then I'm gonna bring my right hand inside that right calf. You can touch it along the calf. You can keep the fingers just grazing the floor. And just to open that left arm up to the ceiling. Maybe you're looking out to the right, or the left, sorry, or you're looking up to that left arm. Whatever's comfortable for your neck. So we're in triangle. Trigasana. Take a few breaths here. Maybe you swing, internally rotate the arm in the air. If you want to take it one little step further, you can stay where you are. And bring your arm down behind your body and tuck your fingers into the inner crease of that right leg. The crease where the leg meets the hip, rather. And just keep that left shoulder open as much as you can so you're not collapsing. And again, you can look up towards the ceiling, maybe out to the left. And if your arm was in that little bind, you can just gently release it. Bring your arm back up into the air, release that internal rotation. And bring that left arm down. Fingers alongside them are grazing the mat just like the right. Then you can bring them to either side of that right foot, and you can bring the palms down to the mat if you can, in line with the palms of the hand, the edges, where the palm meet the wrist. That's in line with the heel of that right foot on either side, and they're shoulder width apart, your arms at this stage. So you're keeping the length in that right leg, and you can inhale, look forward slightly just to the top edge of the mat, and then you can release that and let your spine curve and your head drop down and hang. That's a really nice stretch along the back of the right leg. Just take a couple of breaths here. And I'm going to inhale, look towards the top edge of the mat again. I'm going to flip that back foot. I'm going to come on to the toes, so you flip over the toes. I'm going to bring the palms down on the mat again. Bring that right foot up and behind, so three-legged dog. And then bring it down to the ground, and you might need to lengthen out your legs just to come into your downward dog again. And I'm going to come forward, and I'm going to do a chaturanga, but you feel free to come down to your knees, chest and chin, whatever suits you. And kind of up into a cobra or an up dog. And then exhale back to your down dog. And I'm going to stay here. And then inhale, raise that left foot, that left leg up in the air, three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, bring the knee in. Knee to nose, maybe kissing or just near. And then bring that left foot up. Maybe you need to give it a little hand with your left arm, your left hand. And we're gonna bring that right foot, flatten the mat out at a 45-degree angle. Again, you can make the decision of if the heel is in line with the arch, or maybe the right foot is out so that you're on two different planes to give yourself a little more balance. So we're going to bend that left knee, bring your arms up into the air alongside your ear. Your torso and your hips pointed forward, warrior one. Inhale and exhale here a couple times. And then I'm going to lengthen that left leg. Bring my torso up. It's like your hands are being pulled up into the air and over and down to that left foot. And then I'm going to bring my left arm inside and again alongside the calf of that left foot, maybe the fingers grazing the floor. And bring that right arm up into the air. Your gaze follows, or maybe it's out to the right. Again, you can stay here, or maybe you internally rotate that right arm, bring it down the back, and in the crease of where that left leg meets the hip. You might need to come up a little bit to really get it in there and then come back down. Sometimes when you're in a pose you need to readjust, and that's perfectly fine. Take a few breaths here. And I'm going to release that bind gently and bring that right hand up into the air, releasing that internal rotation so the palm is facing out to the right. I'm going to bring that right arm down, bring that left hand out to the outside of that left foot, bring the palms flat on the mat, the heel of the hand in line with the heel of that left foot. Everything else remains the same. I'm going to inhale, look towards the top edge of the mat, and then exhale, round the spine, bring the head in, and release down. Feeling that nice stretch. And my next inhale, I'm going to look towards the top edge of that mat, of your mat. Tent my fingers, and I'm going to bring over my right foot so the toes are curled under. And then I'm going to flatten the palms again and bring that left foot back up in the air. Come down, maybe rearrange the feet a little bit just to come back into your nice downward dog. And again, you can come forward, knees, chest and chin, or maybe do a chaturanga. So cobra or up dog. You can also always skip these and do a child's pose or another resting pose, or maybe stay in down dog. And we'll exhale an all meeting down dog. If you're in child's pose, there's no rush to get here. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Again, bring your attention back to your breath, that you haven't lost it. It's not too quick or restrained or tight. There's a nice evenness. Inhale and exhale. And I'm going to come down to my knees now, back to tabletop. And I'm going to look off to my left hip and sway the hips over slightly to the right. Just get a little stretch along the right side body. And come back to neutral, and again look to the right and sway the hips slightly over to the left. I'm going to bring that right foot up into the air. So the knee and the ankle are in line. The hip and the knee are in line. So it's a 90-90 kind of degree angle for that leg. And then you're going to bring the leg in and under, and maybe the knee kisses the chin, or kisses the nose. And then bring the right foot flat on the mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Look slightly forward. Inhale. And then we're going to swing that right leg behind us. So the knee is in line with the ankle. And then we're going to come up. And we're going to lengthen out. So you'll kind of bring that right foot out. And we're going to bring our left palm down on the mat behind us and bring the right hand up and over alongside your ear. So you can lengthen out that right leg. So releasing the bend in the right knee. Just take a couple of breaths here. And you can bring that right hand, tent it down to the floor, and then you can fingertip your way back around to the front foot. You can swing that left foot back so that the knee is in line with the ankle, again straight back. You can bring back that right foot, flatten the mat so that you are bent at the right knee again. You can inhale, look forward. Palms down, and you can bring that knee back so you're back in your tabletop. And then we can do the opposite side. So I will move around to the other side just so you can see that, but you're just moving your left leg up in the air. So you've got a 90-90. So at your knee is in line with your left ankle, and then your knee is in line with your hip as well. And then you swing it in to kiss, or maybe in the direction of the nose, the knee. And then bring that left foot flat on the mat. Swing the right leg at the knee so that the right foot is in line with the right knee, but it's back behind off to the left. And then maybe you need to shimmy that right foot a little bit forward so you can have space for the length. And then I'm going to raise my hands up into the air, bring my right hand down behind me. Give yourself a little more length so you can lengthen out that left leg. And bring the left arm up alongside the left ear. You're looking down in the direction of the mat or maybe off to the left. Your shoulders in line with your wrist. So we'll just take a couple of breaths here. And again, I'm going to float that fingertips of that left hand down to the mat. And I'm going to walk them over back to the left foot, swing around the right knee. On my fingertips, I'm going to look forward. I'm going to flip over the toes of the back foot, come onto that right back foot, the knee up off the ground, palms flat on the mat, and bring that right foot back so we're in a plank. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here, just strengthening the whole body really, but you're really bringing a little attention maybe into your core there, that you're not hanging down, but you've powered up there through your core. And I'm going to bring my knees to the mat. And I'm just going to bring my bum back to the mat, or back to my heels. Bring the palms of the hand out a little bit more in front, really stretching the arms. And then you can bring your forehead down in the direction of, again, there'll be another point where you could use your block. Or maybe bring it all the way down to the mat. You can bring your arms in alongside you as well, but sometimes it's nice to feel this lengthened alongside the body. So I'm going to leave my hands where they are, and I'm going to keep the elbows engaged, so I'm not going to let them fall down to the mat. I'm going to keep them powered up. Just take a few breaths here. Really feel the stretch into the back when you're breathing. I'm going to inhale now and look forward. Bring my palms back. Back, 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 so that you're alongside your hips, your fingers grazing the ground, the mat, lengthen the spine. And then I'm going to bring my hands off to the left side, and I'm just going to swing my legs over to the right. So I'm going to come into Dandasana, staff pose. So just make sure you're directly down in your sit bones, palms down beside you, or maybe on your thighs. Lengthen the spine, look forward. And we're going to bring our right leg up so your foot is flat on the mat. And then I'm going to use my right hand to just bring my foot around so your knee is in close to your left knee, and that your top of your right foot is down on the mat. And your heel is just beside your right hip. Slightly forward. So I'm going to inhale my arms up in the air, and I'm going to bend and fold forward. Your hands rest wherever they rest. There's no competition to get it as far as possible, but you're just looking for this inhale to look forward with your chest open, and then exhale around the spine and just come into your fold. Again, keeping the knees close together. Just be mindful of that, part of the asana. And just relax into your forward fold for a few breaths. Again, with these, when you're exhaling, your ribs are coming up, your stomach's coming in. And maybe it allows you to come down a little bit more into your forward fold. So then you're inhaling, you're lengthening. And then exhaling. Stomach in, ribs up, maybe fold forward a little bit more. Maybe it's only a millimeter, but that intention anyways. This should feel like a nice stretch in the back. The breath is stretching out the back in any pose that you fold inwards. This is compression on the front, so the back is expanding. I'm going to release my hands where they were to come down flat on the mat, look forward, and then drag my fingers back, and then gently use my right hand to hold the right ankle and bring that right foot flat on the mat first, the sole of the foot, and then bring the two legs down in front again, palms alongside your hips or on your thighs. Lengthen your spine, Dandasana. And then I'm going to bend at the left knee, bring that sole of the left foot in, use my left hand around the left ankle, and just bring that foot back alongside your left hip, your top of your foot on the mat, your knee in towards that right knee. Inhale, arms up alongside the ear, and then come forward and over the legs through a forward fold. You can put if you're putting wherever you're putting your hands, just make sure you have a foundation there, and you can inhale and look forward. Open the chest, exhale, chest or the stomach in, ribs in, and release down. Just keep that intention, that idea of that inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, releasing down. Same idea as when you're in a twist and you're inhaling and lengthening the spine, using your exhale to journey into the twist. So an exhale is usually always on a contraction. So when you're in a fold or a twist, your inhale is usually always an opening. And next inhale, I'm going to look forward, come up on the fingertips and drag the fingertips back. Use that left hand on the left ankle to bring the sole of the foot flat on the mat, and then come back to Dandasana. And again, just make sure you're directly on the sit bones, lengthen up. And we're going to bring my arms up alongside my ear and come into a full forward fold. Both legs straight. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. And my next inhale, I'm going to look forward, lengthen, release the hands, bring them up along the legs, lengthen the spine. And I'm going to bend to the knees, sit on the sit bones, bring the feet flat on the mat. And I'm going to come to lie down on my back. So you can use your hands just slightly behind your hips to gently bring her down, or you can bring your arms out in front, palms look at each other, and gently roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae, down along the back. And you're coming down, flat down. You can make sure that low back is flat on the mat, bring the legs down. Maybe you bring the palms inwards or slightly up for just a moment. Take a breath here. I'm going to come back up with my feet flat on the mat, and I'm going to take my block and just have it down beside my hips here. Just have it out to the side. And we're just going to do a few bridges. So you can Bring your heels in as close as you can as to your sit bones. The way to gauge it is you can bring your arms down along the length and the fingertips should be just grazing the heels. And again, your feet are just about hip width apart. Palms flat on the mat, and as you inhale, you expand, you go up. And as you exhale, you come down. You inhale, you can go up. Exhale, you come down. Our next inhale or up, we'll stay up. Bring your palms together underneath your sit bones. Your hips high. Your chin is slightly in towards your chest and you're looking up towards the ceiling. So you're not straining the back of the neck. Just make sure your knees aren't flaring out, but they're staying in. So this might be your point where you use that block just to leave it in between the thighs so that they don't, without you being aware, splay out. And I'm going to release the palms down to the floor and bring my bum gently down, vertebrae by vertebrae, down to the ground. You can release that block if you had it between your thighs. Out to the left, or the side of the mat. I'm going to bring the knees in towards the chest. Just going to rock gently with my arms around my calves, fingers interlocked. Maybe you bring your palms to your knees and you circle one way. This can feel really nice on the low back. And then you do the opposite direction. Then come back to stillness in the center. And now that you're here with your knees in your palms of your hand, you can bring the feet out so that the heels or the ankles are in line with the knees and the knees are in line with the hips. And I'm going to circle my ankles one way. This feels really nice any time of day or any time of the practice, but especially after practice, just to release any tension in the ankles. I'm going to do the opposite direction. And I'm going to come back and flex the feet. I'm going to leave my right hand where it is, but I'm going to release or bring out the knee and bring the heel down to the ground. It can be close into the hip bone or maybe out lengthened. So leaving the right palm where it is so that when the knee comes back, it has a little place to be held. So as you inhale, you're expanding, you're bringing the leg out maybe, but you're certainly bringing the heel down. And then you exhale, you bring the knee back into that resting place. Inhale, heel touch the ground. Exhale, back in. And just do a couple more of those. And the next time the knee comes into the right hand, just leave it there, and we'll do the exact same on the left side. So leave the right or the left hand where it is. Inhale, heel touches the ground, either close in or further out. The further out you go, it'll be more challenging. Just do a few there on your own breath. Again, trying to maintain the position of the right leg. So when you're in any pose, it can be often, you might forget about what one leg is doing when you're trying to focus on moving another limb or leg. So just be aware that you're remaining in the correct alignment all over the body, not just on what you're focused on. Now let's do one more. And you exhale, bring the knee back to the hand and just release them back into the chest. So bring your hands around your calves again, interlock your fingers. You might do a bit of leave it still there, or you might do a little rock again. I'm going to bring my feet flat down to the ground, and I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and let my knees drop out, so Baddha Konasana. I'm going to bring my palms onto my belly, one on top of each other. Just take a few breaths here. Bring the knees back together. Bring the soles of the feet flat on the mat. I'm going to walk the soles of the feet out to the edge of the mat and let the knees drop in. It's just doing a counter pose there. You can leave the palms where they are. And then I'm going to bring the feet in hip width apart again and lift the right leg and cross it over the left leg. So as if you're just crossing your legs. I'm going to bring my palms flat on the mat and drop my knees over to the right. And you can look over to the left if your neck allows. And when I inhale, come back to center. Release that right leg and that sole of the right foot to the ground. Bring the left leg up and over, crossing over the right leg, and drop the knees over to the left. Maybe looking up, or maybe coming over onto the right ear and looking out to the right. Maybe your gaze is soft or your eyes are closed. Inhale, come back to center. And we're going to come into our final resting pose. Just make sure your back body is flat on the mat. Your right leg is lengthening out, your left leg. Right heel is out to the right hand corner of the mat. Left heel, left hand corner. Your knee or your feet are falling out, then relaxed. You can bring the palms up or slightly in towards the hips. Make sure your shoulders are down and away from your ears. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, or keep your gaze soft. And just take a few breaths here to close out your practice and allow the energies to slow down and steady up. And I'm just going to bring out awareness back to the body, to the fingers, to the toes. Maybe move them gently. Maybe rock the feet over left to right. Maybe move the wrists in one direction and then the other. Then I'm going to bring the palms flat to the mat, bring the soles of the feet flat to the mat, bend at the knees. I'm going to come over onto my right side with my right arm up and behind me, using that as a cushion for my head, and then press with my left palm into the mat and come back up into a seated position of your choice. I'm going to come into Sukhasana, easy pose, and I'm just going to lengthen up here. Inhale, I'm going to bring my palms together just to thank you for joining me today. I hope this practice was of benefit to you. And I hope your time here was well spent. Thank you and namaste.